Okay, let's look now at grabbing a BIM elevator model. They're really rich in detail. I'm going to Schindler. I Googled it, just Schindler elevators. It's important that you go to the North American site if you want consistency with the way I'm going to walk through this. But Schindler is a top-end manufacturer of elevators. They exhibit huge booths at trade shows. European German or Swiss engineering, just really good, high quality product. Not swaying you one way or the other, but it's something that I've liked the idea of the way they present their materials. So that's why I'm going to select them. Now, so I just clicked to their elevator solution, and we're going to go to the low-rise 3100, 3300 machine here, and optimize for 2 or 3 stops. Let's go back again. Oh, it's the 3300 I want. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. So let's go to the 3300 and mid-rise market, so that'll cover our extra floors. It's a gearless drive. We'll talk about that in lecture. They have a great video. I'll probably show this to you in lecture about their, the way their system functions. And let's go right to, well, we could configure the look of the cab. We'll discuss that in class. But what we really want to do is just configure our elevator so we can have a BIM model. And what we're going to do is pick our landings. I have, I think, 5 landings in that, 5 openings. We have no rear openings. Hoistway entrance dimensions, 3 foot 6 inch wide, 7 foot high. Big concern for making it ADA accessible and also convenient to pass through. We'll have some discussions about why a narrower door kind of clogs up the transport of people. I'll leave this at 208 volts, and I won't input any travel limits yet. And our cab inside dimensions, I don't think we can select this. It's standard. Hopefully that meets ADA requirements for the interior of a cab. I'm a little bit concerned about that. So let's keep view my elevator plans. So we have our hoistway dimensions, a PDF of this, and really where we want to get to is we want to get the layout data, but we really want the BIM model. That's our goal here. So we're going to fill this out. Buffalo, New York. I really want the sales representative to call me every day and ask me when I'm going to buy an elevator. That's just a joke. So I'm going to type in the thing to prove I'm not a robot. And that's going to download it, and you can see I've been practicing all kinds of downloads. And so we'll just remember this 27 series, and we'll save that. And we'll go ahead and open that up. Whoops. So that was a 2700. I'll select that, and we'll do the extraction of it. And the destination file is showing on another screen. So that's now extracted. And there we have the traction elevator. And I'm not exactly sure what this one is. I'll open that in a minute. And we do want to look at this PDF document. So they give you a nice visuals of all the dimensions and everything. And a lot of these we can get off the BIM reference. I guess that 2-speed side opening or something like that is probably what that 2SSO means. So let's go ahead now and actually just open both of these. I'm going to open this one first. I have to upgrade the model. 2011 version. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's great. That's a door element. That's the door of the elevator. So we'll go to the front elevation. So now we have a full model of the entry. It's the back side of it, I think. No, actually that is the front side. it looks like we might have to do actually some finish work to it to get it to look right if we were to insert it as a door element. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to function with that yet. We may want to make something similar to this or embellish this piece of model to get it to work as a door assembly, specialty equipment. Yeah, we might want to actually take some of these and use it to create a door element, as I just said. So let's not worry about this one right now. I'm going to close this off. And I'm going to reopen the real elevator component, the traction elevator here. And this is a little more complicated, so it'll probably take a few more seconds to open up. But we're getting there. Okay, so here we have the traction elevator. Let's look at it from a 3D view. I'll zoom in here a little bit. So you can see the elevator. You can see, I don't know why this has this. This might be part of the door operator on the front of the car. Maybe mechanisms for it. But this is the traction motor up at the top. These are the hoist cables going all the way down. They have, this is the counterweight that goes up and down. And then this is the other side tracks. And these are just railings around the top of the car, probably for service. And lots of details in here, like a ladder to get down into the pit. These are the springs or the locations of where those springs would be. This is a pulley for where the cable would be wrapped around it, probably attaching to the car itself. So now we have this, and let's look at loading it into our actual model. So I'm going to load it in our project. And it's not the working one, or it's not the vertical model, it's the working one that I'm doing right now. And actually we'll just drop it in. Let's go ahead and we'll place it, I don't know, arbitrarily here. I'm saving a lot of, I want to save a lot of room for what will be our escalator to go over here. So we have our hoistway in. If we were to look at this in a 3D view and rotate it around somewhere where we could see it, right, we would, it's almost hidden because it's not actually going through the floors. So let's do a couple things right away. One is, it's on level 1, even though it's going down below, that's just a hoist bit for it. But what we really want to do is adjust it so that it's coming up to the level that we need it to. And our top landing is 51 feet. So let's go to edit type. And default elevation is still 0, but let's go here and we want to travel to, I guess that was 50 feet. Let me see if it still shows. Level 5 is 51 feet. So let's see if that'll work for us. Okay, and that's just peeking up through there, so that's actually probably correct. I also noticed something else. We'll go ahead and fix this too, and I don't know if it would ever show up in the way we're doing this drawing, but that second floor height was also a choice, and that's only 15 feet. So let's put 15. Let me do that right. All right, and we're not specifying pit depth, but there is already some pit depth in it, and it's set for a front loading door and a speed. None of that, I think, really affects the actual model itself. So we have our elevator in place, but what we don't have is a way to get into our elevator in a hoistway. And it also looks like our elevator may be, well, let me just pivot it down here. No, it's facing in the right direction, so that's where the door is on it. So let's go ahead and create a shaftway. So I'm going to, I hate the way this doesn't show up over here. Let's go to level 1, and we can see our, actually let's go to level 2. And let's make our shaftway for our elevator. So I'm going to grab the shaft tool again, and we're just going to draw another rectangle and complete that off. And let's see what we're going. We're going from level 2 up to level 5, actually level 6, because we're going to need a little penthouse. It looks like it comes up a little bit through our roof level. One of the ways to alter that would be to make that second floor roof a little bit higher to accommodate that extra space. So let's now look at this, and we have our shaft cut through for our elevator. And we don't have it on the bottom, so I've actually got to, let me just tab in here. It's not going to let me find it probably. I'm trying to find the shaft wall here. Let's go to wireframe for a minute. Let's go back to level 2, see if I can find, there we go. So it's going, base constraint should actually just be level 1. And -1 to make sure it punches through the floor, that's fine. And now let's go back to our 3D view and render it. Okay, so now we can see our shaft going all the way through the building. And I could just make this a little easier for our construction right now. It's just, let's pull this way back so we can start to see our components better. And we could probably look at this in perspective, and that would help us see this whole thing a little nicer. All right, so now we can see our all of our components. And what becomes apparent is we now have to figure out how to hold these vertical elements to something. So we need to create that shaft wall. So let's do that right now. Let's pick level 2. It doesn't really matter what level we're on. We're going to go again and create another wall, architectural. And we're going to make that big beefy wall that we just created. Actually, let's just do an 8-inch. It really just seems ghastly thick. And we want to go from level 1 up to level 6, but we probably want to be offset by a foot so it just doesn't, well, actually it's the elevator again, shut my mouth. Let's say we maybe want to go up 2 feet. We'll just see how that does. And then I'll just start drawing the box around this whole thing. Okay, let's look at that from the 3D view. So now we've got our elevator with our shaft wall, and we could actually just peel this back a little bit. If I've got the right element here. Whoa, did I go too far? All right, so now we can actually just dig in here and see our construction of the frame or the track system. And what we do see, and this always, this will need correction right away. Now we're going to go back and modify our shaft wall, because we would be building this through the building well before we were actually placing the floors in. That's typically how the elevator and the stairwells go through a building. So let's go to any level that we can go ahead and grab that shaft wall. Let me tab here. I've got the shaft wall, and I'm going to double click on that and edit it. And I'm just going to pull it out until it hits the outside of that wall. And we'll go back to that 3D view. And now we have the walls ending right at the core of the shaft. And everything looks like we've spent a lot of time, and we've only done a few minutes worth of work on this. So it's a really nice, powerful tool. Okay, so we don't have any elevator doors yet, and we might just start by making a generic door, and then starting to work back and kind of we'll start with the BIM model that we had, see if we can you know, the SOO single speed whatever it was, opening door. We'll see if we can modify that to function as a door element. I'll experiment with that a little bit, and we'll pick it up on the next recording.